In this video, I want to talk about how you can make your songs, your productions, your mixes way more interesting to the listener. This is going to hold their attention for longer. It's going to mean that you get more streams and ultimately, and most importantly, more fans, because they will connect with your music in a deeper way. So how do we do this? Well, ultimately, it all comes down to creating contrast. If you're writing a rock song, for example, and you want your chorus to hit hard, you want your chorus to sound massive. Well, the only way that you're going to do that is if the section that comes before it, the pre-chorus, the verse, sounds smaller by comparison. One of the best pieces of advice that I got when I was just starting out producing was that if everything is big, then nothing is big. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see more inexperienced producers, songwriters making. Always trying to put more into the song, trying to make it sound bigger everywhere. And while that can be useful in some cases and in certain sections, not for the entire song, because that just ends up to everything sounding smaller and it just becomes fatiguing for the listener. So let's take a listen to this song. We're going to play a little bit of the verse and then go into the chorus and hear the contrast between those two sections.
Let's make our mark, it's just the start. You and I gonna take on the world and be sure we end up someplace good, someplace new. Do we even know the way?
So in this song, and when I'm producing a rock song, a pop rock, pop punk, like what this is, one of the best ways to get contrast is with guitar tones and vocals, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So if we take a listen to the guitars in the verse, you can hear that they're much lower gain than the ones that come in the chorus. Let's take a listen to them. And then there's another cleanish one that comes in here. Now, by contrast, these are the guitars that come in when the chorus hits. So instantly, there's separation, there's distinction between section A and section B, the verse and the chorus. That is going to help keep your listeners' attention because the ears will pick up. We've got a change of direction almost in the song. Now, the other contrast that we're making in this song to make the chorus feel bigger than the verses is in the vocals. In the verse, there are minimal harmonies. There's just a couple here and there. However, when the chorus hits, we've got big 3-part harmonies. There's the lead, there's a higher one, and there's also a lower one.
Let's make our mark, 'cause it's just the start. You and I gonna take on the world and be sure we end up someplace.
So all of that part of the verse, just a single lead vocal on its own, nothing else. We've got one very small harmony coming up here, which is in the pre-chorus, which is going to help bridge that gap into the chorus. Take a listen.
It's good, someplace new.
Now we're into the chorus. We've got all of those harmonies in, and we've even doubled the lead vocal as well. Take a listen.
Do we even know the way? Please guide me through the wind and rain. 'Cause in truth we will find a way to follow our dreams.
So you can hear how much extra lift, energy and excitement we're getting when that chorus hits. Let's take a look at a totally different song, totally different mix, and see how we're creating contrast in that. Now, this song is a lot softer in style and genre than the one that we've just heard. It's more pop than rock, maybe even some country as well. So let's take a listen to a section from the verse into the pre-chorus and the chorus, and then we'll dissect how we're creating contrast.
And with this empty glass, I'll erase the memories of the past. I just need you to see.
Now we're into the pre-chorus.
That every time that we speak, you make my heart skip a beat. You keep my fire burning bright. But every time that we try to turn these wrongs into rights, I feel
Now into the chorus.
All I have left is you, and I can't help but think it's true that you're trying to find someone.
Okay, so quite a lot going off in this song, and again, one way that we're creating contrast is through the guitars. In the verse, the arrangement is fairly sparse, particularly in terms of guitars. All we have are some acoustic guitars and this clean guitar down here. Let's take a listen. Now, we do also have a synth pad and a piano. There's also some pedal steel, and we also have some strings as well. But as you can see, the strings are kind of in and out. They're not there all of the time. The pedal steel and the pad are kind of just doing some ambient stuff. Let's put those in, take a listen. So now we're coming into the pre-chorus. We need to start building that anticipation for the chorus that's coming. So we don't want to go all in yet, but we want to take it up a level. Now, one way that we're doing that is with some extra guitars. So we've got some higher gain guitars that are just doing some fairly soft palm muting. They're not coming in all guns blazing just yet. And the strings are also doing a really nice staccato rhythm as well that goes with the acoustic guitar. So let's put all of that in. Take a listen to the pre-chorus. So now as we get to the chorus, we've started to build that anticipation and excitement. We've got the heavier guitars, the high gain guitars all in. We've also got another crunchy guitar in the left playing a twiddle that's something else for the listener to latch onto and help prick their ears up. And the strings move into a higher register. So in the verse, they're quite sort of subdued, quite low, quite ambient. But now in the chorus, the strings are big, they're lush, and they're playing some really nice sort of flowing passages. Let's take a listen. So lots of different things going off in this arrangement that's all aimed at keeping the listener's attention and helping them to attach to the song and to connect with it. Now, we're also creating contrast with the vocals, just like in the previous song. In the verses, there is just a single lead vocal all on its own. As we get to the pre-chorus, there's a double for the lead and some harmonies, not too much. Let's take a listen to this.
Memories of the past, I just need you to see
Into the pre-chorus.
that every time that we speak, you make my heart skip a beat. You keep my fire burning bright.
So not too much. We're just harmonizing a small section at the end of the phrase. Again, we're just trying to bridge that gap between the verse that's quite small and the chorus that's going to be quite big. We're just building that anticipation. As we get to the chorus, a couple of things happen. There's more harmonies, and we also get to a wider double. So rather than a single double up the middle, we've got the double left and right. Let's take a listen.
Feeling you slip away. All I have left is you, and I can't help but think it's true that you're trying to find someone new. 'Cause all I have left is you.
Something else that's worth mentioning about the vocals as well is the way that the lead vocal is written in terms of the melody, in terms of the delivery of the vocal. In the verse, the singer's singing in quite a low register. When we get to the pre-chorus, they take it up a notch. But then when we get to the chorus, they're singing in a much higher register. Take a listen. So this is the verse.
And with this empty glass, I'll erase the memories of the past.
Then we get to the pre-chorus, we take it up a level.
A beat, you keep my fire burning bright. but every time that we try,
Then we get to the chorus and we're in a much higher register.
and I can't help but think it's true that you're trying to find someone new.
That isn't done by accident because it helps create contrast between the different sections of the song, and it helps lift the song at those moments where we want it to. Now, if you're an artist or in a band and you're releasing music in any way, shape or form, then likely one of the biggest struggles you have is getting traction with your music when you release it, and then capitalizing on this traction to create more opportunities, such as playing bigger shows, playing festivals, getting on the radio, and doing all the things that you dream of doing as an artist. It can be really frustrating, even demoralizing, when you've poured your heart and soul into creating a song, spent loads of money and time producing, mixing, mastering it, only to release it and it just falls flat and no one pays any attention. Well, I've got a solution to this problem, and it is a 28-day release roadmap. Far too often for many artists and bands, promotion and marketing is an afterthought, and if you're not thinking about this until the day of the release or even a couple of days before it, it's usually too late. There needs to be a process leading up to your songs to build hype, to get that traction going, and then afterwards as well. But very often it can be frustrating knowing what works, and there can be a lot of guesswork involved. Well, my 28-day release roadmap removes all of that guesswork. This is the exact strategy that I've used with many of the artists that I've worked with, even the ones that I'm working with right now. All you have to do is follow it. This has mapped out a period of 2 weeks leading up to your release and 2 weeks after, telling you exactly what to do every single day in order to promote and get traction and build hype for your release. So it takes all of the guesswork out, and best of all, it's completely free and you can follow it no matter what your budget is. So if you have some money to put into marketing and promotion, then great, but equally if you don't, it's fine. There are alternatives that you can use that are freely available to you. So go and check out the 28-day release roadmap. The link is in the description below.